Hey, everybody. So nice everyone showed up. I thought we would start off
What bothers me about this argument
watching a little bit of Ethan until we can sort out
at $35.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, you're not appeasing readers. You're also fucking over readers that paid $35
until we can sort out what else to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm Jim. This
Shane
is Low Watermark.
Shane.
Oh,
I don't really care.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
I just like
you're doing a show here.
The holes in his argument. The holes in his argument. It's just kind of weird. Like that's why I said before. It's like, so are readers, if they're reading your book, they're only paying $5. Then what are the $35?
Shane, I mean,
he
has holes in his argument, Shane, because
yes, Jim is paying attention. He's trying to
and trying to manipulate.
Oh, here we go.
Whoever else is watching him. That's all it is. How do I manipulate them into thinking that what
I forgot to have those turned on?
It's for them. How do I do that? Yeah,
if you flattering freeze for him, by the way.
I love all the freeze frames I do, Virgil.
Great. A virus that had a 99% survival rate. And sure, there was this black guy that was.
I will say this: a virus with a 99% survival rate.
99% survival rate. Where is Julio?
Really like something else. First of all, Andrew's father died of it. Okay. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that means it has a 1% fatality rate. It means 1 out of every 100 Americans who catch it, according to you, are going to die. That's fucking crazy. Why do you say it has a 99%? So it should have like 100% survival rate. It's got a 99%. That means only 1 out of 100 of us are going to die of this virus. That's fucking terrifying. Stop saying that.
Somebody said 1%.
There's Julio.
Rate is massive.
Hey, what's up, Jim?
Correct.
Sorry. Talking to my daughter for a minute.
Correct. That's 80 million. Is that 80 million? 1%? $80 million worldwide. 80 million deaths.
Somebody said it was 99.97%. So it's 0.3.
That's what he said. Mind and body. That's what he said. I didn't say that. He said that.
So do we have?
I don't know what the survival rate is, but whatever. Here's the other thing. Yeah, you survive it, but you're fucked up. I have not felt right since COVID.
So do you guys want to talk about some conspiracy stuff?
Let's
you
do
want
it.
to watch? Did we watch the Midnight Climax one, or no? We didn't do that last night, right, Julio?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Hey, Low Watermark.
Hey, how you doing, Julio?
Doing good.
Good. Yeah, I figured I'd jump over here, Jim. I mean, that Dave guy, jeez, he's so yesterday,
No.
So this is Operation Midnight Climax. He's going to be releasing a one on Operation Northwoods in the coming days, so I can't wait for that one to come out.
Huh.
So
if the video will load, it'd be great.
Oh, it'll load.
Imagine walking into a bar in 1950 San Francisco, enjoying a drink, perhaps meeting a charming woman, and heading to a nearby apartment. But what if I told you that what happens next isn't just a wild night out, but the beginning of a secret government experiment? Welcome to Operation Midnight Climax, one of the darkest chapters in CIA history.
Are you aware about Operation Midnight Climax, Low Watermark?
No, I hadn't heard of this one.
Okay. It's very interesting. It's all true, too. That's what makes it. It's not a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy effect. Why am I getting a Wi-Fi signal? I'm wired in.
40 years ago, in the wake of Watergate, the United States Senate created a special committee to look into the activities of U.S. intelligence services.
The 1950s and 60s were times of great tension and rapid scientific progress. The Cold War had the United States and the Soviet Union locked in a fierce battle for global dominance, a battle that extended beyond nuclear arms to the very minds of men. Amidst this backdrop, the CIA launched MK-Ultra, a top-secret program aimed at mastering mind control. But among the many disturbing sub-projects of MK-Ultra, one stands out for its sheer audacity: Operation Midnight Climax.
Well, the committee met for 16 months. It reviewed more than 10,000 documents. It called 800 witnesses before the committee and its staff.
A whistleblower, a former Army counterintelligence captain, provided details in 1970 in a published account that was published by the Washington Monthly of a nationwide Army domestic intelligence program.
MK-Ultra was born out of fear that the Soviets were making advances in psychological warfare that could give them a strategic edge. The CIA's response? To experiment with mind-altering drugs like LSD, but they needed a place where they could conduct these experiments covertly. San Francisco, with its vibrant nightlife and countercultural scene, provided the perfect cover. In 1953, under the direction of Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, MK-Ultra officially began. As part of
So it's like, why? I don't know if he's going to get into it in this video or not, but Charles Manson was more than likely a victim of this. He was in before he went to LA, he was in San Francisco and Haight-Ashbury and all that around this stuff and
hippie stuff.
You know, like hippie stuff. And it's really, I don't know. It's speculated that it was the CIA that caused him to do what he did.
I do like that they were saying, well, the CIA put a lot of thought into this and they decided San Francisco was going to be worth. I'm like, I could have figured that out in 5 minutes. If you're going to do this kind of shit, that's where to do it.
Yeah. I also wonder if the CIA was behind the development of LSD.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's a legit option? Like that could have been the case? I don't know.
Maybe
it could be, but I would have thought people would have known where LSD came from at the time they were doing it. I mean, like maybe there was an actual normal scientist that somehow created it, but yeah, it could have been the CIA. I mean, who knows? You know.
Do we know who came up with that? With LSD? Like, is there?
Well, it was that guy. What's his name? Jeffrey Leary or something?
Timothy Leary.
Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary.
I think he
he popularized it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he might have been working for the CIA.
Could be.
I'll buy that.
Why is this telling me? I'm getting an alert telling me that I have a low signal, but I'm doing a speed test right now and I have 735.18 MBS down and 51 up. So what the fuck is StreamYard telling me I have a bad signal for?
Before we started the stream, I was telling you about internet going out.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying I've got a great signal and I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm wired in. So I don't get it.
All right, let's see what Gottlieb has to
For
say.
this program, George Hunter White, a seasoned narcotics officer with a flair for undercover work, was brought in to run Operation Midnight Climax. White's job? To establish a safe house where unsuspecting men would be lured, drugged, and observed, all without their consent.
Members of Congress didn't know anything about it. It had been secret running for about a decade, and the whole purpose was to monitor political dissent in the United States, those who voiced opposition to the U.S. domestic and foreign policies.
George Hunter White was no ordinary CIA operative. Born in 1906, White had a career that read like a pulp novel. He started as a journalist, moved into law enforcement, and served as an agent in the Office of Strategic Services during World War II. Known for his aggressive and unorthodox methods, White was the perfect choice for an operation as morally ambiguous as Midnight Climax. White's experience in the Federal Bureau of Narcotics made him an expert in undercover operations. He knew the criminal underworld, he knew how to manipulate people, and most importantly, he wasn't afraid to bend the rules. When the CIA came calling, White was ready to take on a new challenge, one that would push the boundaries of ethics and legality.
Dr. William Frosch of Bellevue's Psychiatry Department.
Here at Bellevue, in the last 2.5 years, we've seen a fairly large number of admissions of patients who come into the hospital, usually shortly after they've taken lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD.
Operation Midnight Climax began with the establishment of a fake brothel in a discreet San Francisco apartment. White, with the help of the CIA, set up the safe house with two-way mirrors and hidden recording devices. The idea was simple: lure men into the brothel, dose them with LSD, and observe their behavior. All of this was done, of course, without the subject's knowledge. To make this work, White recruited local prostitutes, paying them to bring men back to the apartment. These women were aware that something was going on, but they likely had no idea the full scope of the operation. Once inside, the men were secretly given LSD, and the experiment began.
And you have another.
Just think how fucked up that is. They were just giving it to people and just watching them like a bunch of fucking weirdos in a cuck chair.
Yeah, that's nasty, man.
Mhm.
It's fucked up.
Another revelation, the third one now, to say that there are some intelligence abuses out there, and Congress doesn't seem to know much about them.
The experiments conducted during Operation Midnight Climax were as unethical as they were secretive. The men who entered the brothel thought they were just having a wild night out, but they were actually part of a government experiment. The LSD was slipped into their drinks, and as the drug took effect, White and his team watched from behind the mirror. White's notes from these sessions provide a chilling look at the CIA's willingness to cross ethical boundaries. He observed how the men reacted to the drugs, how their behavior changed, and how they interacted with the prostitutes. Every detail was meticulously recorded with the hope that this data could be used to develop new mind control techniques. But it wasn't just about the drugs. The prostitutes were instructed to engage the men in conversation, to manipulate them, and to see how easily their behavior could be influenced. The goal was to understand how LSD could be used to extract information or even control an individual's actions. What the CIA learned from these experiments would later be applied in other equally disturbing projects.
And then finally, in December of 1974, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh published a front page above the fold article in the New York Times, alleging that the CIA had developed a domestic surveillance program.
And what of George White, the man who helped the agency in so many of its programs? He would retire here to Stinson Beach, California. And shortly before his death, he wrote to his boss at the CIA, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, and summed up his career by saying, "It was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat, steal, deceive, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?"
Can you pause it real quick, Jim? I have a question.
Ethical concerns surrounding Operation.
Yep.
So far, the deal is you're a guy, you go into a bar, you get dosed up or drunk, a hooker comes up to you, a hot chick, starts talking to you, and then you take her back to the room and bang her, right?
Pretty much. They don't really say if the hookers know about it as much or not. You know, like
I was going to say, I would volunteer, honestly.
it doesn't sound like a bad deal.
Yeah, it's a good night out.
Yeah, and supposedly LSD wasn't horrific for people. I mean, there were a lot of people who did it.
Some
and they
people,
had,
well, that's the thing
some
is-
people it disagreed with.
Yeah, some people disagreed with. You know,
Well,
there
I
are
think
stories that somebody like that did it one time and it broke their brain.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's like some people, who drink just should never drink. And some people can handle it. I think it's the same thing with drugs.
Yeah, it can happen. You know,
Well,
like some
something that
people
alters,
just.
something
Go
that
ahead.
alters the mind. If you already have some underlying condition, if you've got a psychosis or something like that, you don't want to be using something like LSD that's going to totally whack you out because you're barely holding on by a thread. Now, you don't know the people up front, and they could have gotten anybody in these studies. I mean, there could have been a serial killer in there. And when they got on LSD, they could have gone crazy or something.
That's
You
true.
never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, there's another section that we could watch too. On actually the one talking about what they did to like Whitey Bulger. He was part of it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Midnight Climax are staggering. The men who were drugged had no idea they were part of an experiment which violates the most basic principles of informed consent. This lack of consent wasn't just unethical, it was illegal. But it wasn't just the subjects who were exploited. The prostitutes used in the operation were also victims of the CIA's manipulations. They were complicit, yes, but they were also pawns in a much larger game, one they likely didn't fully understand.
That's sexist.
The legal implications of the operation are equally troubling. The use of illegal drugs, the violation of privacy, and the exploitation of vulnerable individuals all raise serious questions about the legality of the CIA's actions. These concerns would later come to the forefront as more information about MK-Ultra was exposed.
We have been victimized by excessive secrecy, not only with respect to the failure of the Congress in the past to exercise proper surveillance over intelligence activities, but also excessive secrecy has created this kind of mischief within the executive branch.
The psychological impact of these experiments on the subject was profound. Many of the men experienced intense hallucinations, paranoia, and confusion. For some, these effects were temporary, but for others, the trauma of the experience may have left lasting scars.
Here is part of an interview with the subject just before LSD is to be administered.
My husband is an employee here at the VA, and he told me that they were looking for normal people, and I volunteered.
Because these men were never informed of the true nature of their experiences, it's impossible to know the full extent of the damage caused by Operation Midnight Climax. There were no follow-up studies, no psychological support offered, and no accountability from the CIA. The men were simply left to deal with the aftermath on their own. This lack of accountability is perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the operation. The CIA conducted these experiments with no regard for the long-term consequences, both for the subjects and for society at large. It's a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the potential for abuse in covert operations.
Well,
tell me.
Well, I just couldn't. I couldn't possibly tell you.
Operation Midnight Climax continued until 1966,
Sean
when growing
Connery?
concerns about its legality and ethics led to its...
What's that?
I was asking if that was Sean Connery.
Yeah, this is Sean Connery.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew's here. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, it's going good.
We were just watching a little bit about Operation Midnight Climax, part of the MK Ultra thing.
Ah.
Obviously, it looks like Sean Connery was involved. James Bond was part of it.
Clearly.
Of course.
How about a nice glass of wine?
Right. I'm waiting for him to slap her. Isn't that what he did, Sean Connery?
He said that sometimes they just need a slap.
Yeah.
Gotta smack them real good.
What's crazy about this, Jim, is unlike the chupacabra stuff, which some people like, this is documented and happened.
Yeah.
This is all true.
This is all true shit.
Well, I mean, it's not like they didn't have a history of that. World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen thing, where they did the syphilis experiment and basically gave it to them and didn't give them any treatment, even though they said they did. And that causes massive brain damage. So we've been doing this stuff for a long time.
What types of things do you think they're doing now? Like a lot of these videos, 70s, 80s, like what are they doing in 2000?
Be doing something, right? Yep. I mean, and what if it's just, social media stuff? I mean, we talk about TikTok being a Chinese thing or whatever, but what if there's more than that? What if actually some of the craziest shit going on online that's melting people's brains and really causing them to do crazy shit is actually a government op rather than a foreign government?
Well,
we're doing it to ourselves.
I'm like 95% sure that Bitcoin was created by our government.
Well, that's interesting. Why would you think that?
Well, because the entire dark web was created by U.S. intelligence. The whole torrent system and Tor.
Onion. Yeah.
It was all created by them. And so let's see, what's the way? And do you remember when they first came out? They were telling how Bitcoin's is untraceable and you can do all this stuff. And Well, guess what? That was all a lie. They could trace everything. They know exactly where everyone goes. Where it moves, where it goes.
So they're hoping to hook people in.
Yeah, get people using it, and then they track it to all these, like they're not worried about like me or you. They're going to use it to trap like, international arms dealers and cartels, and they start using Bitcoin, and next thing you know, they're just seizing it.
Yeah.
Didn't the dark web get shut down at some point, if I remember right? The Tors or Onions didn't.
It got fucked with, but it's still going. Yeah, it was but I mean that was completely. It's known that was invented by naval intelligence and the NSA. So I don't trust anything, and that's like what they're doing. Like they're locked up that guy in France from Telegram because he wouldn't let him into their system. They're into everything else, like Signal, all that shit. Yeah, they got all that stuff.
They hit him with like 100 counts of this, that, and the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they went after him the same way they went after fucking what's his name from Ross Ulbricht from Silk Road. Same shit. Like, I mean, it's fucked up. They would try to do the same thing to Elon Musk or to Mark Zuckerberg if they thought they could get away with it and they didn't share what they wanted.
Zuckerberg's got a whole new. I think he has a new PR team because his whole thing has changed lately. I heard today he was saying, well, I was pressured by Biden to post certain things, and he was, I don't know.
No, it was Harris, wasn't it?
Was it Harris? Okay, yeah. I just know he's trying to be a good guy now, Zuckerberg.
All right, put us all on the bottom now.
No, I'm a victim too.
Ooh, weird.
Wow.
This termination. By that time, the operation.
What's up?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Drop acid, not bombs.
Had already become controversial within the CIA, and the broader MK Ultra program was beginning to attract unwanted attention.
It's here. Can't you feel it? This whole room. This everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules.
I can taste colors.
Yeah.
I don't buy that out.
The public exposure of MK Ultra in the 1970s, including Operation Midnight Climax, led to widespread outrage. Congressional hearings such as the Church Committee revealed the full extent of the CIA's unethical experiments, leading to significant changes in how the agency conducted its operations.
He injects the drug into monkeys to find out whether he can duplicate man's LSD experience in the animal closest to man. Dr. Jarvik says that the LSD effects can be seen in the rhesus monkey, yet LSD remains an enigma.
The backlash from these revelations forced the CIA to adopt new ethical guidelines and oversight mechanisms to prevent similar abuses in the future. But for those who were affected by Operation Midnight Climax, the damage had already been done.
You have to approach LSD with trembling and with fear and with love to use it for harmony and beauty. What's going on in the United States today is a revolution in consciousness facilitated by these psychedelic chemicals.
George Hunter White retired from the CIA in 1966, leaving behind a legacy that is as controversial as it is complex. On the one hand, he was a skilled operative who played a crucial role in one of the CIA's most infamous programs. On the other,
that's a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
That looks like more than 26 grams.
other hand, his actions contributed to the ethical and legal controversies that ultimately led to the program's termination. White's involvement in Operation Midnight Climax serves as a stark reminder of the potential for abuse in covert operations. His willingness to cross ethical boundaries in the name of national security. Today, George Hunter White is remembered not just as a CIA operative, but as a symbol of the moral ambiguities that can arise when the pursuit of knowledge and control takes precedence over human rights and dignity. As we look back at this period, It's crucial to remember the importance of transparency, informed consent, and accountability in all areas of research and government operations. The legacy of Operation Midnight Climax isn't just a story from the past, it's a warning for the future. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications on future videos.
Yeah, I would recommend everybody sign up for this channel. It's called Proven Conspiracies. Eric Hunley, he does a lot of great research on this stuff. And
so what's the point of the CIA doing this?
They thought they could use it to mind control people. They were trying to test it to see, you know, they did all types of shit. They tried it. They were like dosing each other.
Also, like did nobody think that the name Midnight Climax sounded weird?
I know.
Yeah, that's a giveaway.
Commence Operation Midnight Crisis. Midnight Climax.
They got Order 66 is next.
Oh, like it sounds like a name of a porno title.
It does.
Operation Midnight Climax.
Well, like
if you don't have sex with me in 10 seconds, the bomb will explode.
You know, they called. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
They called the program to control the media Operation Mockingbird. You know, so
to control people to what end?
I don't know. Whatever end they want, to get them to do what they wanted. You know,
dude. You know, I'm a guess to fulfill their sadistic god complex.
You know, they were trying to do a bunch of stuff. I think they tried to like dose a bunch of different people with acid, like speakers and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, they wanted to do like there was like because they thought it would make them act crazy on the stage, but did it? I don't know. You know what I mean? That doesn't really work that way. But yeah, so you know, and then there's this, Operation Mockingbird is the latest one he's got out 3 days ago, and then he's got this Proven Conspiracies to MK Ultra and its victims, talking about those. But there was this other one I wanted to go through. Where are we at? Documentary.
How have you been, Low Water Mark? Good?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. How you been doing?
Doing good.
That's good.
Doing good. Andrew, good?
Yeah. Like I had like a dentist appointment. Like I had to like get like get a crowning done.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Let me give you a pro tip. Don't go to the dentist.
And I also got to play around with like my new lightsaber that I recently got delivered.
Nice. Where'd you get it from? What company did you get it from?
I got it from N Sabers. It's the it's the Luke Skywalker V2.
What color? Is it green?
Like it does like all colors.
Oh, all right. So you get red. If it's Luke Skywalker, it can't be red.
Just give me a minute. You know, like I can like get it out.
Oh, well, that's all right. I was.
Oh, hey, leave it in your pants.
Yeah. Well, it's not that late.
keep your mind out of the gutter.
Trying to look for I think
All right. CIA hypnosis during the Cold War. Here's my hot take while you're winding it up. I think we lost the Cold War.
Well, it was it's very what's the word?
Like not the financial side of it, but the cultural side of it.
Yeah, it's possible.
Himself was sitting in that chair, we would make him say what we wanted him to say. This sinister quote is attributed to a communist interrogator based in Budapest in late 1950. This and other similar reports were perceived by American security services that the communist bloc had developed innovative techniques to extort confessions from their adversaries, or even worse, to wipe out the personalities of unwilling subjects and replace them with new beliefs and convictions to manipulate them as covert sleeper agents. As a result, in 1953, CIA Director Allen Dulles authorized the agency's own mind control program, the notorious Project MK-Ultra. I'm your host, David, and today we are going to look at the origins and goals of this extensive, secretive project, which involved hypnosis, LSD, magic mushrooms, and mescaline, or as Keith Richards would call it, breakfast. This is the Cold War.
Oh, Kings and Generals are great. That's a great channel.
Yeah, this is like a side channel. It's got, but anyway, this will explain more like what their goals were.
If you are looking for the best way to protect yourself and look great doing it, then you need the sponsor of today's video, Ridge Wallet. Bulge in your pocket. Switching from a confident you'll like and use code. Turning point in the development of such convictions was the trial of the Hungarian cardinal Josef Mindszenty. A fierce opponent of the local communist government, Mindszenty was arrested on November 26, 1948. In the ensuing trial, he was accused of treason. To the surprise of international observers, Mindszenty meekly confessed to stealing Hungary's crown jewels, to planning a Third World War, and to conspiring to take over the country. The same observers, however, reported how the cardinal displayed a zombie-like demeanor throughout the trial. His gaze appeared particularly lost, which led to speculations of him being manipulated through hypnosis or other mind-wiping techniques. Decades later, Mindszenty revealed the advanced and refined techniques used by his interrogators.
So, like, there's been a lot of stories about people throughout our history in the past, couple, say 75 years, that just seemed like zoned out and out of it, and admitting to things. It's almost like, wasn't that like that guy, what was his name, Otto Warmbier, when he got interrogated by the North Koreans and then they got to him to confess to doing a bunch of stuff?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you guys.
You can't? At all? Let's see.
Team, if the Durka-Durkistanis have weapons of mass destruction, I'm afraid it could be 9/11 times 1,000.
Jesus, you mean?
Yes, 911,000.
He dropped out. I wonder if he's having bad internet connections. So I guess Julio stepped away. You know what I'm talking about, Low Watermark? How when they see these people, when they get them to confess and stuff, and how they just look like zombies?
I mean, I get it. I mean, and you could effectively do the same thing with various tortures as well, even with a small dosing of drugs. I mean, people can only take so much. I think that they're looking for the ultimate, the sci-fi level mind control stuff that we see. You spray a mist in their face, and within seconds, they're totally under your control.
Right, he's going to show you his lightsaber now, Julio. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. Nice.
Yeah, so like this is the V2. It's like meant to be based on like Mark Hamill's stunt saber. It's the one that he uses like when he's at Jabba's palace and when he's fighting Darth Vader. So like whenever he's doing the fight choreography, like this is the version that he uses, and for any close-ups or when the lightsaber is being used, he's not using it to duel with. They have a spare one called the hero version, which is basically the one that that the studio merchandises off. So I'm gonna turn it on.
Shit. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's really bright. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You see it changes colors. You do the blue.
Yeah. This is a Master Windu.
Purple.
Purple?
Yep.
Oh, here, let me.
The dark saber.
Nice.
And General Kenobi. Star Killer.
Star Killer's from the video games, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I think so. Starkiller was also the original last name that for the Skywalkers until he changed it to Skywalker because it was more family friendly, I guess. Leia. Darth Vader.
It's fucking awesome.
Now it's rare. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Ahsoka. Yeah, white.
Now what? Yoda's is green.
Yeah. This is Anakin. So, same blue as Obi-Wan. Let's see. Yoda.
Tell me, is this training? My training? No, always connected.
I'm waiting for the Darth Maul where it comes out the other end.
Well, it doesn't.
Well.
Yeah, like they're, I have a way to add the Darth Maul sound effects, but I removed it because I'd much rather have Darth Vader's sound effect.
That's fucking cool. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Like this costed me like $370.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Yep.
Oh yeah. But they are just, but they are worth the price. Because at Disney, like they still can't figure out how to get the lightsabers to work, and still keep like the thin necks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, that's cool. If you think it's money well spent, it's pretty cool. That's good.
Oh yeah. Like I cosplay as like Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan. So I always use like these lightsabers for cosplay.
Nice.
I even have Obi-Wan's right here from episode 3.
Is that just the hilt? It doesn't have a...
Well, I can't put a blade in here, but like I have like these like retention screws inside, and like they're completely stripped, so so I can't really like put a blade in it, and keep it steady. Let's see. Yeah, I think the batteries are dead too. So, but yeah, like yeah, but like if you're like a diehard like a Star Wars fan, the third party route is definitely the way to go.
Mm. Well, that was good shit, Andrew. Thanks for sharing. I mean, it's fucking awesome.
Oh, there's my comic.
Here's your comic.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you,
I didn't get a chance to read. I mean, I looked at it. It looks pretty good. I didn't get a chance to read it yet. I prefer to read the physical books. I don't really like reading a PDF or whatever. And I was I was trying to make a little promo video for your book, so I transformed all the PDF, each page of the PDF into an actual JPEG.
Yeah.
So these are like pictures, not. I was going to make a little promo, but I was waiting for the book to come.
Did you get a notification that it got shipped out?
I think so. I get notifications every day that stuff gets shipped, so.
Yeah. Because I think it would I think it would have told you like in an email or something.
Oh, I don't know if I got an email from that. Let me look.
Low watermark, U.S. Star Wars guy?
No, not really. I mean, I like the original trilogy, and I wasn't, terribly upset with the
prequels.
The prequels. I haven't watched anything after that, though. So.
like the Clone Wars is like the stuff to watch. Like the Clone Wars cartoon is pretty much like what saved the prequels.
Well, which one, Andrew? Are you talking about the Tartovsky 3-minute long animated ones, or the?
That did too. But I'm mostly referring to like the CG animated Clone
Oh,
Wars.
sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
Jim.
because like the animated.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, because even the animated Clone Wars, cartoon definitely made Anakin look a lot better.
Mhm. Well, you grew up with the prequels, Andrew. I would guess you're younger.
Yeah, I grew up with the prequels, and I have seen the original trilogy. Like whenever they came out, whenever they got re-released in theaters. And my parents took me to our local theater to go watch them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I showed my kids they grew up on the prequels too. My kids, they're a little younger than you. They loved them, so I wanted them to watch the old ones, and they thought they were slow and boring.
Yeah. Because it really doesn't make sense. You're watching episode 4, and then you watch the prequels. And it's like, wait, so how is everything faster and and more acrobatic? There's something that is supposed to happen in the future.
Yep.
It reminds me of that. Have you guys seen the Family Guy parody of the original Star Wars trilogy?
I saw some of that.
It starts off with Peter Griffin going then let me tell you the story of Star Wars. Let's start with episode 4. Instead of episode 1.
You know what? When Andrew Low Watermark, I was 9, and my mom took me to the original Star Wars movie, the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was episode 4 on the title crawl or not back then. I don't remember.
I think when they first got released, it was Star Wars: A New Hope, then Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and then Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, and then I think when the prequels, then when they were working on the prequels, they decided to number them after that.
Wow.
All right, my apologies, Jim and Low Watermark. I was
No, you're fine.
nerding out with Andrew here, so
I'm getting yelled at in other people's streams.
I'll shut up now. You are? I can keep going.
No, you're fine. So but your book is Grand City Libertera.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like a libertarian city, or just a play on the words, or?
It's just a play on words. It's a coincidence that you would call the civilians of Libertarians or libertarians. But it comes from the word liber and terra, which means land of the free, which is basically their world's version of America.
Okay, now the pyramids, is that
I thought it was just a really cool way to design buildings.
Okay.
Other than
it looks futuristic pyramids. I mean, it's not like.
Yeah.
Now, is there a reason this guy doesn't have a mouth?
Okay. It's that's where you have to kind of zoom in. And you'll actually get the details. Yeah, you have to really zoom in. So if you see the texture, his whole face is covered in stone.
Oh, this guy's stone?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, have you have you ever have you guys ever watched the Invincible cartoon?
I haven't. No.
Okay. Yeah, so like there's a guy who can like cover himself in like stone, and that's where I got the idea to where um because originally like he showed his face, but then I looked back and went like, yeah, why would a robber mug somebody with his face revealed, so I decided to like just cover his face with stone, since he has stone powers.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my anime whatever manga stuff is like very limited. What I want, like like Full Metal Alchemist, I've seen that. Robotech is Macross Saga stuff, and
Robotech rules. Love Robotech. Good. Oh yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean,
I love the detail though, Andrew. Like Jim says, like, why would he do that? And you're like, well, scroll in.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, you can see it better here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way I use like the action.
What inspired you, Andrew, to write? Like, do you have a favorite manga or anime that made you want to write a comic?
Like in terms of like the world building, like I was mostly inspired by Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
Oh.
But
I didn't see
I
that
was
coming.
also but I was also very inspired, by the superhero genre, and so I thought like, why not have like a superhero fantasy world where I can just completely make where I can just like I can just have my own rules. Like I'm not bound to the limitations of like this world. So I can like pretty much just do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I can sort of have like ways of like explaining, the quote unquote magic system, even though there's no magic in this world so far. But sort of like the power system.
So even though you didn't maybe show it in this comic, you have it in your head what the world is supposed to be built like and the mechanics of the magic and stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
So he calls him, "You stupid normie! You made me lose my money."
Yeah. So
you called him an NPC.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. In hindsight, that could be, like the wrong word to use. But but it was meant to be sort of like a slur for like a normal person. Someone without powers.
Now, is this how many books do you plan on doing to tell this story? Do you have a number, or do you know where it's going? You have your whole story laid out?
Yeah, like I have the entire thing laid out. I just don't have like a specific number of books that I'm gonna do.
Okay, but you know where you basically know where you're starting, you know where you want to, how you want to get there, and you know where you're going.
Yep.
Okay.
I just go with the flow, man. I'm not bound by your rules.
So what happened to the character with the wings?
Go back and you'll.
So this guy gets knocked out by the stone guy, and then he goes into underground and wakes up, goes underground, and comes across this. Is this like a angel or a powerful being or? Oh, this guy's name is Jaden Theologia.
Yep.
Did you get that name from anywhere, Andrew, or you just made it up?
Theologia, comes from from the word theology, and Jaden comes from like my absolute favorite Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist, Jaden from Yu-Gi-Oh GX.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you got dinosaurs.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm with you. Why the fuck not?
Because if Dragon Ball can have dinosaurs, why can't I? I think you skipped a page.
Did I?
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. 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 Like.
They might not be in. They might not be in order. Actually, I just realized that.
No. No, they're in order. Like I was just paying attention to like a certain part of the page. I just forgot. Like how like the rest of the page went.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a different angel now, or?
Keep reading.
Oh, this is the god Elohim.
Elohim. Okay.
Elohim. Yep. Oh, like okay. So
Are
on
you a fan
panel 2,
Andrew? Are you a fan of mythology, or is that like classic Greek?
Some mythologies, but being a Christian myself,
Elohim.
Elohim is Hebrew for it's one of the Hebrew names for God.
Mm-hmm.
So like on if you zoom in on panel 2, I want to know if you guys catch anything among those planets.
We got Saturn. You got this one. Well, you got Earth. It looks like, and then a square. I don't know.
Okay. Right next to Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's technically not Saturn. It's just another Earth that I decided it just has a ring.
Okay.
One of them is the flat Earth.
Oh, this is the flat Earth with the dome. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim should be about that. Flat Earth.
I just, I think it's cute, the flat Earth stuff. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man.
No kidding. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it's it's not meant to insult anybody. It's just a cute little thing that Elohim is the creator of all worlds, and he's showing a bunch of these. He's showing a bunch of these different planets, a bunch of Earths that exist, and somewhere out in the multiverse, there's a flat Earth.
Okay,
that's cool. I like it.
Okay, so what do you want with me? Embodiment of his justice. So he's going to make him like his horseman of the apocalypse or his judgment.
I'm not here to hold your hand.
Yeah. Okay.
We all love that joke.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek. King of Justice. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like arguing with them. Take a bath, bathe, my whole body. Quit complaining. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
What's that second panel is? I'm sorry, Jim. Could you go back one
like
page?
This right here?
Yeah.
Is that like just
like the middle panel is kind of cool?
Is that like dictating the time is passing?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Like that's like that's an anime trope. Where it's like bink, 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 bink.
I like it. I'm not an anime guy, so thanks for explaining that.
Oh, this is cool how you did it so that this is clear and then you got like it's blurry because he's waking up.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
So there's a hot one now. Would this be published by Represent? No,
no, it's available. It's available at the XP Comic website. I could put the link in the chat.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's also under my name.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to draw, Andrew? Did you take classes, or did you just?
Oh my god!
You're just good at it.
Oh my god! I'm mostly self-taught. But I have taken art classes. In fundamentals, and then I just self-taught myself. To draw anime style.
You use a tablet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I drew this on an iPad Pro.
Okay.
And the program that I use to draw on it is Clip Studio Paint.
Okay. You got a lot of humor in here too,
yeah.
Where he's talking about it's better not be the hormones talking.
Pretty good.
She's a good-looking woman. He's a good-looking man. Hmm? Oh, I love that Spider-Man reference. She is good woman. You are good man. Yeah, I do not know why the screen tones sometimes appears and then disappears.
What do you mean?
There's certain shadings that I use called screen tones, and for some reason some of them are they just disappear on the screen, and I do not know why that is.
So a hitman shows up, wants to take him.
But why?
Oh. So what's this guy got some kind of slick oil powers or something?
Do you remember Tony's suit from the Infinity War movie?
Oh yeah, the whatchamacallit, the nanobots?
Nanotech.
Okay, so he's got a nano.
Yeah, he's got a nanotech suit.
Oh, okay. Oh, does she have some kind of powers too, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Force fields.
Oh, okay, force fields. Okay.
That first panel was my most favorite panel. No, the first panel in the next page. Yeah. Oh my, that first panel was my most favorite panel to draw.
Yeah, I like they did it. So it's moving, they're moving, going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's 3 panels in one panel, 3 different movements.
Yeah, and that he's kind of that he's kind of getting pushed back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what is this he's hitting him with? Is this just some kind of energy, or is it fire, or it's pulse?
Yeah, it's
basically just like Tony's suit, kind of like.
Yeah, kind of like Iron Man.
Okay.
But but it's like animeified, DBZ style.
Okay.
I like your miss on the previous page.
Yeah.
Like when he was on there, I think that's cool. Like the little,
Miss.
I'm pointing at it like you can see it, but yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, he grabs him, finally got to hold still. Oh no. And he hits him and he gets blasted out to
He's blasting off again. It's a red left to right or like a traditional manga. It's red American, so left to right.
so he can heal people too. He's got healing powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take it like you got like the people that whoever the government or someone in charge is looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got the Babel Laboratory, kind of like the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
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 Location unknown. You summoned your champion. Now we summon ours.
Have you thought about reaching out to the ISOM ministry to have them back this book? I mean, that would be funny. That would be a great turn of
events.
Yeah. Oh, so this is their is this like their champion then?
Yeah.
Okay. This was a story that was over 10 years in the making. Ever since my time in Harper Community College, where I met my editor, Joe Ziek, I thought of creating my own comic series. A manga series that I loved reading at the time was Bakuman, which was about the manga industry, more specifically Shonen Jump, and how it all works. And this is what inspired me to create my own series, both in writing and drawing. I spent my time conceptualizing my characters, both in writing and in drawing.
I spent my time conceptualizing my characters, the story, the world, the rules of the powers, and more.
I've done it several times to publish it, but I keep doubting my story. Well, don't doubt your story.
No.
And start it over. So this is an older PDF because I fixed this spelling error.
Well, you aggregated your editors. You took a whole collection of them. You put them together. and then they work for the Rippaverse. There were 6 of them on Gooding.
I think it just hired Andrew.
Yeah.
This agitated my.
I know, aggravated probably, or agitated, or aggravated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I kept down in my story and like just started over, and my editor's like, "No, stop doing that."
Well, this is like a Christian comic in an anime manga style. It's actually got a good niche. It might,
Yeah,
this could end up, in schools and stuff for kids and.
Yeah, like I tried to Bakugan. How old are you, Andrew? Like 24. I'm 35, and no, it's not Bakugan. It's Bakuman. Bakugan is an anime about about these sphere toys.
Okay.
Yeah. Bakuman is a manga series. That's literally about like the manga industry. The second paragraph also talks about like my inspirations.
Yeah. Okay. C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
Tolkien.
Yeah.
Who's your message for English? Yeah, I think
As a Christian, I've always wanted to create stories and worlds, just like C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien. They let the characters and stories drive the message instead of letting the message drive the characters and the stories. They never felt hammered into our brains or make us feel like we are being lectured or preached to. I've always wanted. I've always wanted. I've always wanted to allow God to have a presence, in the story, just like Aslan in the Chronicles of the Narnia. I love the idea that God can take on any form, depending on the world he manifests himself in. He can take on the form of a lion, a burning bush, a man, or 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 even a flaming humanoid with no face.
Okay. There's still more to come in this series, so I hope this has intrigued you enough to keep reading. Andrew Rowland.
Yep, and there's my signature.
Yep. There's
And a
Andrew.
little, and a little drawing of me.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of thinking about the page where the person was opening their eyes and it was black at the top with and you did the lettering and the coloring and the drawing and everything yourself?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and Mato is right, because Action Bible made a ton of money. You could
Yeah. Yeah, but I never wanted to do like a Bible comic, because it seems
No,
like
I'm just saying, but if you stay
Yeah.
if you got like enough religious undertones.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I always wanted to do it in a way that like C.S. Lewis did, with Chronicles of Narnia, where like he made his own little world, that that he can put his faith into, and message, and he doesn't have to sacrifice, like the logic of like the logic of the real world.
I think it's amazing. You came up with this on your own and did everything by yourself. You didn't reach out to have somebody do your ink or somebody to do your lettering. You just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's punk rock. It's what you did. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to do it myself. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, because
really is.
I always wanted to do it, like the way like the manga artists do it, because like a lot of manga artists in Japan, like it's literally, like the creator is both the writer and the artist. And there are like rare occasions where it is like a writer and artist duo, but they're like very rare cases. The creators of Death Note were a writer and artist team, and they were also the same people who made the Bakuman series as well.
Have you ever thought about doing like color? Do you think you could do the coloring? Because you did all the other stuff, right?
Yeah,
Is that a
like
whole different-
yeah, like if there's demand for it, because like I'm not a very good colorist, and I can get it colored, if there's like enough demand for it, but only like for like the trades, not for like the single issues.
Well, I'm not asking if you think there's demand for it. Is it something that you would want to do? Like, would you like to see what you draw come to life in color? That.
Yeah, like and yeah, like I have like a colorist, that I'm working with, but it's gonna be a very slow, it's gonna be a very slow process. With the issues and the trades, they're going to be in manga style, black and white.
That's cool. That's a vibe. I mean, that's
yeah. Oh, like even Dragon Ball, released, like a full color version of like the Dragon Ball manga. They did, so like so if there is a demand, that they want like a full color version of the comic, then I'll be happy to oblige.
So this is Vito's comic, right?
This is Vito's comic. I thought we might as well pull this up. It's kind of like he kind of did. It's like an anime manga, Japanese style.
It looks similar to Andrew's comic, I think, just at first glance, a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's see
Shonen Revolver.
Yeah. So he's got, there's a digital preview of the book. It's just the first act of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I read this and I thought it was, he tries to be funny. He's got some humor in there that's, I don't know. It's like almost like 80s sitcom.
Well, yeah, like, it's like a parody of
Almost like a parody or something. Superhero
Have you read this
stuff.
too, Andrew?
No, like I've seen some pages get up on Twitter, but I did not read the actual book. Like I've seen this page. I think on Dave's live stream, I think we talked about I think we talked about this page, and there was another page, where he put.
I did a dramatic reading of this on a stream one time. I was doing voices and everything. I did a couple pages. I don't remember which ones I did. Maybe this one.
I think it was the next page. Where they do like these jagged lines. They're like, it was this one.
Yeah, where I was trying to figure out why they were like glowing, and someone said they were glowing or something, or
so it's like that is an anime trope, but I don't think that was the best use for it. Because you would normally do that, when you cheapify the characters, for comedic effect.
For us boomers, I don't know what chibi-fi is. Is that like big heads?
Yeah, like like small bodies and big heads.
Okay.
Like when they cheapify characters, it's usually when someone is like is like trying to be witty,
I see.
or say something funny.
So you draw the character differently.
Yeah,
when they're doing
and like it's mostly used, for like a comedic effect. But with that middle panel, like I just don't think that was necessary.
Why is that? Do you think there's too much dialogue going on there, or
no? No, it's just that like it, I just don't see why to add that on there. Like,
okay.
It's like I'm sure that that guy is probably without reading the dialogue, let's say the bubbles are not there, like like what could he possibly be saying? Like that would warrant that kind of effect.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird to me. That's why I was like, "What is going on?" Almost like were cut out and placed on it. But then, I mean, the color. Once it's color.
Yeah.
It's cool what you said, Andrew. Like, well, if you didn't read the bubbles, would this make sense? That's an interesting way to. That's cool.
Glorious radiation oven.
For the benefit of useless woman.
I am heavy weapons guy.
Great variety of American food product are contained in kitchen. Just look, serve to customer. And please try still remaining clam of chowder. I fear it has begun to turn and regrettably color of green.
Yeah, doing voices is fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who touched Sasha? Who touched my oven?
What are you staring at, you bald-headed you prick?
Have you seen the cartoon Animaniacs?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Does anybody remember the Good Feathers?
Yeah.
Oh, what am I just here? Oh, what do you think I'm just here to? To disgust you? Is that what you mean? Hey, chill out. Oh, like I just can't remember like the entire dialogue. But it's so funny.
It was something like this.
I want somebody good, and I mean very good, to plant that gun. I don't want my brother coming out of that toilet with just his dick in his hands, all right?
where like the smaller guy, like always like takes whatever the middle guy says out of context. And like gets mad and beats him up.
Yeah. Yeah, something like.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me what's funny.
Yeah, like that's exactly how it would go.
So this is just the first few pages of Vito's comic, right?
It's the first act, yeah. You know.
Mm-hmm. Did Vito? Is Vito writing this, or is he also drawing it?
No, he's got a professional. He's got someone that that's drawing it, and then he's got some guy that did like really famous for tentacle stuff. Did a cover, and
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Okay, so Vito is just doing the story.
Right, he did the story and everything, and
Meteor Man.
Yeah.
Is the final comic, Jim, supposed to be color, or is it?
It's going to be color. No, it's going to be color.
Yeah. So this is like a
so this is like a preview.
Yeah, it's like a preview thing that he wanted to get out. Like it's got to be. There's a digital version of the book too, but I think this was just the first act that was done, and he was trying to get it out because Dick was giving him shit for not being done. Like he was supposed to have it out before the Deadpool Wolverine movie came out.
Is it a good idea, you think, to put out an unfinished product?
I mean, it's okay to do a preview book on something like that Fearsome preview book that Ethan did. That's only 10 pages, and it was like I'm like, okay, now I'm interested. Like the art looked good and everything. And
yeah, well, that's Ethan. I mean, who's not Vito.
Ethan is like I know everyone is going to disagree with me, but Ethan is kind of a diva at this point. Where he feels like he constantly feels threatened. That somebody is like going to do better than him.
Brother, I'm not going to disagree with you, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, he does good work and everything. I think he's stretched himself a little too thin. I think he needs to focus on getting stuff done instead of keep starting new stuff. But
it just feels like he's like trying to be like the next Seth MacFarlane. Trying to start like his toy line business. It's like I'm like, dude, like just focus on your comic.
Well, I think the toy line actually is not. It's not like he has to do a lot of work for the toy line. He's not sculpting it. You know what I mean? He just has to do approvals and stuff. So it's not like that big of a deal. It's just a matter of stuff like it was work for him. It's work for his warehouse people to sell the toys and everything, to ship them and stuff. But I'd like to see him get some stuff out. I think if I'm not mistaken, I thought he said that Heart 64 Deluxe is shipping now, so that's good.
I kind of want to respond to Inmato, where he's talking about like how people don't understand Ethan's humor. I'm kind of sick of people like using that excuse that oh, he's just making a joke. He's making a joke. So Ethan can say, the stupidest things, and his fans will defend him, by saying like, it's a joke, bro. It's a joke.
Well, some of the stuff is a joke. Some of it's not. I mean, I know that, I'm not stupid.
Well, here's what I know about you, Andrew. You wanted to make a comic, right? You had it in your heart and your head. You wanted to do it. and you did it. You drew all the panels, did all the fucking bubbles.
Yep.
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have the talent, you know, like you do, or other people who can draw and stuff, I guess, you know, if you have that kind of thing inside of you that makes you want to do it, you'll just do it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Vito, how long has he been working on this?
About a year. You know, like it just that he's up it hasn't even been a year since he opened up like the Indiegogo. Yeah, the Indiegogo just went live, I think in September or October of last year.
My comic, like it took me a whole year to to finish mine, and that was also because I work a full-time job as a welder.
That's a good job.
Yeah.
Welders make good money.
Yeah, so like I don't have like all the time in the world, to work on my comic. Probably the best days, that I get to work on my comic are like on the weekends. And usually when I get home from work, a lot of the times like I just don't feel like drawing because I'm so worn out, by my job.
Well,
so I have an excuse, what's everybody else's?
Well, it's not an excuse, it's a reason. You have to earn a living and make money.
Yeah. I mean, Vito does other stuff, like he streams and everything, and the comic is just like his latest thing he wanted to put out, and I think he's having more fun actually doing all the other stuff that goes along with it. Like
the lunch boxes,
the lunch box, and all the tchotchkes and the different things, and
that's cool.
So who knows? But yeah. So, but I think he's got some stuff going on here that's and like I don't know, this girl, he based this girl on some girl that he was friends with that's passed away.
That's sad.
That he was friends with. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nightmania caught in sex scandal.
Yeah, so this like it's kind of wild that the introduction to his hero is him coming in all fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good choice, interesting choice, I should say. Good choice.
Do you think, Jim, that him releasing this makes you more interested in buying the comic?
I already bought the comic. That's how I got this.
Oh,
yeah, I've already backed the comic. That's how I got this.
All right.
I mean,
Also another fact, Julio, for my comic, like I never did a campaign for it.
No, I know. I found out about it with you in the chat, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah. Burgers.
Yeah.
I want that burger. Has anyone noticed that like with that like a lot of anime, like they make the food look way too good.
Yeah, like if you look at this, like this drink, it kind of like I think once the color's done, maybe it'll look a lot better. Like the way his clothes look, the way they're ripped with the stuff. I imagine there's going to be some blood or something, maybe.
I can tell that like it's also got some inspiration artistically from Ryan Otley's art style. He was an artist for the Invincible comics. Yeah, the sweat drop. That's also like that's also an anime trope. When someone's like, okay. like confused or agitated.
Oh, so like I didn't even catch that they didn't know each other before he just stumbled in there.
Huh.
Oh, look at this. Win a chance to appear in Super Killer. Read the end of July campaign update to learn how to enter. Huh. You could have your face in here, I guess.
Ah.
You're a bad guy. That's cool. I did that with the thing coming through the head.
I am bad, and that's good. I'll never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. That's a Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Yeah. So he's not like, it's like he doesn't actually wear a suit. It's actually part of his skin, I guess. You see how when he's pulling his face?
Yeah. Or he ate the gum fruits.
Yeah. Something. I'm the Saudi kid. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is like the comedy that he's doing, like the sketch where it's like, oh, inspired me to do a jihad. Oh man, I'm nailing it. Yeah. Call 911. Blah. Meteor Man shows up.
And he looks very different.
So my takeaway from this page, there's lots of bubbles and lots of text.
Yeah, I actually prefer less text in a comic book. I like to, like it should be just, there's way too many word bubbles.
Yeah, I think I'm not a comic book guy, but it seems to me the art is the comic book and the art should tell the story, I guess.
Yeah, because probably one of the biggest issues that I have with the Invincible comics is that it is way too wordy. Like there's like way too much dialogue going on.
That's a cool
the guy looked. Yeah, he turned into some kind of monster.
He turned into evil All Might.
Brace for impact.
Oh no, he's going Omni-Man now.
Yeah, so that's the end of it. The guy shows up to fight him again. So.
And he's got like he's got like 2 bandages covering his hole.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the last page with the 2 characters on it, Jim?
Which one?
The very last one had the.
This one?
So, Andrew, what do you think of the art, like the character art there?
In terms of style, like I wouldn't call it manga style, because I think the eyes are kind of more Americanized than anything else.
It would be bigger in manga, right? The eyes would be much bigger.
Well, no, it's that they would be stylized differently. It's not in terms of like having big eyes. It's just the way they're drawn. Like the eyes are too Americanized. Because this looks more inspired, by the Ryan Otley style, where it's kind of a mix of American style and with some manga inspirations.
I think the girl looks cute. Like the
Yeah.
I like that drawing.
Yeah, she seems, kind of like the big titty goth girl.
Yes. Does he have a release date, Jim, on the comic?
No, he doesn't have a release date. He doesn't have a release date yet. So we can get back into where we at. We can get back into this one. Share screen.
Detentions, beatings, and physical torture. But, and there's always a but, the seeds of fear and even paranoia had been sown in the West. Now, let's consider this anecdote. In 1949, Judge Harold Medina presided over the trial of 11 leaders of the U.S. Communist Party charged with conspiracy to overthrow the government. He later admitted that in the courtroom, he avoided eye contact with the public as he feared being entranced by communist hypnotists. And then the fear of communist mental powers escalated during the Korean War. In 1952, Colonel Frank Schwabel and other captured U.S. pilots admitted to dropping bacteriological weapons over civilians in North Korea. 5,000 U.S. POWs signed similar confessions, which prompted military and intelligence officials to consider seriously that the communists had developed some sort of mind control or hypnotic programming. You may actually be familiar with this plot if you've read Richard Condon's 1959 novel, The Manchurian Candidate, or if you've seen the excellent John Frankenheimer movie. The techniques allegedly used by communist puppet masters received a catchy brand name courtesy of journalist Edward Hunter: brainwashing. Already in September and October 1950, Hunter described in his articles how the Chinese and their Soviet allies could wipe out their enemies' personalities and implant them with new thoughts, convictions, and even pre-planned actions. They could achieve this by using techniques developed by the, quote, famous Russian behaviorist Ivan Pavlov. Yeah, the one with the dogs. This technique was called see now, or to wash the brain in Chinese. Hunter further explored and popularized the concept in his 1951 book, Brainwashing in Red China. And trauma specialist Dr. Joost Meerloo and Dr. William Sargast lent scientific credibility to Hunter's writings, defining the act of brainwashing as a psychic homicide. The Cardinals trials, Hunter's articles, the early reports from Korea.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
No?
Not sure what to think about that.
This one is better.
Heard this many times, that there are people who say that we... Mr. Dulles, I know you've heard this many times, that there are people who say that we, with regard to the CIA, are waging a secret war with an invisible government.
Imagine a secret government program where unsuspecting citizens, including soldiers, patients, prisoners, and more, were drugged without their knowledge. What if I told you that the U.S. government mixed LSD into something as innocent as Kool-Aid and administered it to children?
Well, at least it wasn't Flavor Aid, and it wasn't Jim Jones, and it wasn't poison, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be something to watch, the audio of the Jonestown suicides. Have you heard that, Jim?
I haven't heard it. No, there's audio of it?
Yeah. I'll put that in the holster for later.
Okay.
I was given a glass of Kool-Aid, and so were the other children. This Kool-Aid was spiked with LSD. It was horrible.
This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a dark chapter of American history known as MK Ultra.
In the early 1950s, the CIA became convinced that the communists, meaning either someone in the Soviet Union or in communist China, had discovered or was on the brink of discovering the secret of mind control.
Starting in the early 40s, Dr. Cameron used sleep-induced comas, massive doses of electroshock therapy, LSD, sensory deprivation, forcing patients to listen to hours of recorded messages on tapes.
MK Ultra delved into the darkest corners of human experimentation, pushing the boundaries of ethics and morality.
We were interested in seeing what effect LSD would have on visual discrimination performance in monkeys and also on memory.
But what is MK Ultra? Who were the people behind it? And how did an accounting mistake unravel the secrets of one of the most infamous programs in intelligence history? Let's uncover the disturbing truth.
And I didn't like all the pills that I was taking. I couldn't swallow them with water because they were always afraid that I wouldn't keep them down.
The story of MK begins in the early 1950s, a time when the world was gripped by Cold War tensions. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a fierce competition for global supremacy, and the fear of communism was at an all-time high. Within the CIA, concerns grew that the Soviets were developing mind control techniques, an idea that was terrifying to American leaders. In response, the CIA decided to launch its own program to explore the potential of mind control. Thus, Project MK was born in 1953, authorized by CIA Director Allen Dulles. The mission? To explore the darkest reaches of the human mind and develop techniques that can manipulate behavior, extract secrets, and create super soldiers who could carry out missions without question.
Sweet.
We are obviously engaged in many
someone
facets
dropped out.
of
Andrew.
what is generally called the Cold War, which the communist policies forced upon us.
At the head of MK were some of the most influential figures in the CIA. Leading the charge was Allen Dulles, the first civilian director of Central Intelligence. Born into a powerful family, Dulles was a master of espionage, having served as the head of the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in Switzerland during World War II. His tenure at the CIA was marked by aggressive covert operations, and he was deeply committed to ensuring that the U.S. remained ahead of the Soviets in every way, including psychological warfare.
Sidney Gottlieb was the most powerful unknown American of the 20th century.
To bring MK to life, Dulles turned to Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA's chief chemist and a man who would earn the nickname Black Sorcerer for his willingness to push the boundary of science and ethics.
Black Sorcerer.
Do you think he was from possibly
from a country that was involved in a previous war, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe that he came here due to some kind of paperclip.
Yeah. Could be.
He looks like he was plucked out of.
Yes.
That was my take immediately. Yep.
Yeah.
That
That's what I was
profile.
thinking.
He was the person who carried out the most intense and extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been conducted by any officer or agency of the U.S. government.
Born in 1918, Gottlieb was a brilliant toxicologist who quickly rose to the ranks of the CIA. He was fascinated by the possibilities of manipulating the human mind and believed that by breaking down the psyche, it could be rebuilt to serve the agency's needs. But MK reach extended beyond the CIA's walls. Dr. Ewan Cameron, a prominent psychiatrist, was brought into the fold to conduct experiments that would become some of the most controversial aspects of the program. Cameron, originally from Scotland, had made a name for himself as a leading expert on mental illness.
His controversial research caught the attention of the CIA in the 50s, eventually being funded as part of MK Ultra.
His work at the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal was groundbreaking. Under MK his methods became increasingly brutal. Cameron's theory of psychic driving involved breaking down a patient's mind through repeated messages and extreme electroshock therapy, all in the hope of reprogramming them.
Tell us about Dr. Ewan Cameron.
He wasn't liked by the patients.
Dr. Cameron's
The patients didn't like him. Gee, I wonder why. How do you think? How do you think the patients liked Mangala? Did they like him? You think they were fond of him? They were sad to see him go.
His bedside manner wasn't very good. Yeah.
How do you think the dogs like Pavlov?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, how do you think the gorillas like Jane Goodall? Well, they probably liked her a lot.
The goal was to depattern them, to wipe out their memory.
Project MKUltra targeted a broad range of subjects without their knowledge or consent, including prisoners lured with promises of reduced sentences, psychiatric patients subjected to extreme psychological and physical manipulation, and ordinary citizens unknowingly dosed with drugs in public settings. The program also involved college students in abusive studies, military personnel tested under the guise of research, individuals with substance use disorders, and marginalized groups. Even some CIA employees and their families were subjected to these experiments. These individuals were often chosen for their vulnerability, as they were seen as easy to manipulate and unlikely to resist or expose the abuses they endured.
We didn't have a choice. We couldn't say, no, we don't want this. It was...
They should have listened to Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
Right. Not that difficult.
Oh, well, maybe this was before Nancy did that whole thing.
Jim, or any on the panel, is there ever a reason for the CIA to do this stuff? Like,
well, a good reason, or they had a reason, but I know whether or not it was legal and right. I don't know.
If the Russians are doing it, you have to keep up with them. Does it?
But that's always their excuse for doing everything. That's why we have to develop bioweapons. That's why we have to have the gas and shit. And remember the gas, the mustard gas, and all that shit. Well, the other side's doing it, so we're going to have to do it. You know why? Why do we have to build these nuclear bombs bigger and better? Because the other side's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's kind of like, isn't that what you're, you know, like when you were a kid and they would tell you like, oh, why'd you do it? Well, why'd you let them do it? So I could do it if you let them do it. So it's kind of, like
he did it
with a bunch
first.
of kids. He did it first, you know, yeah.
You know, we were given medication and we had to take it.
Theodore Ted Kaczynski, a mathematical genius who would later become infamous as the Unabomber, was one.
Huh. I have his book. It's right there.
I was talking to my son about him last night when he was over. I'm like, that's some good ideas. A little over the top, but I don't know.
He was right about technology fucking up society.
In 1958, Kaczynski enrolled at Harvard University at the age of 16. It was there that he became involved in a series of brutal psychological experiments led by Dr. Henry Murray, who was funded in part by MKUltra. These sessions, designed to break down the participants' egos, involved relentless psychological abuse, which many believe played a role in Kaczynski's later descent into violence. Another unwitting participant was James Whitey Bulger, the notorious Boston gangster. While serving time in federal prison in the late 1950s, Bulger volunteered for what he was told was a research study that could reduce his sentence. What he didn't know was that he was about to become a guinea pig in one of MKUltra's most notorious subprojects. Over 18 months, Bulger was given LSD and other drugs, causing terrifying hallucinations and a descent into madness. These experiences haunted him for the rest of his life and contributed to the paranoid, violent persona that would define his later years. But perhaps the most tragic case connected to MKUltra is that of Frank Olson.
The Frank Olson family has lived here in Frederick, Maryland since 1950. Olson was a top-level biochemist at nearby Fort Detrick. In 1953, November, Alice Olson was told simply that her husband had fallen or jumped out of a 10th-story window at the Statler Hilton Hotel in New York City.
Olson, who worked in the CIA Special Operations Division, had no idea that he would become a test subject in the program he had unwittingly helped to develop. During a retreat in 1953, Olson was secretly dosed with LSD by Sidney Gottlieb. The effects were devastating. Olson began to suffer from severe...
I mean, I would just ask, how do you know he was secretly dosed? I mean, how do you know he didn't do it willingly? You know what I mean? That, like, saying it... I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he was or wasn't. I'm just saying, like, you're... After the fact, you can say, "Oh, he didn't." There's no way he knew, but I don't know. He was.
I'm just knocked out. It was Frederick, Maryland. That's where I raised my family for 20 years. Fort Detrick was always. Everybody always thought Fort Detrick. They're cooking up the AIDS. There was like some.
No, that's Fort Detrick is actually where they keep all the VX and sarin gas.
That's There was always shit about that fort, which I drove by every day.
Yeah.
Questioning his work and the moral implications of what he had been involved in.
The CIA is very bumbling, but in this case, I think there's another possibility that there may have been some intent. And I'd like to be reassured that there was no intent to kill my father. I think that is an open question.
9 days later, Olson fell to his death from a 13th floor window of the Statler Hotel in New York City. The CIA ruled it to be self-inflicted, but the circumstances were suspicious. Many believe that Olson was murdered to keep the secrets of MKUltra from being exposed. Decades later, his family would fight for justice, uncover.
Yeah, you know what's weird too is that this is that kid that you just saw on the screen talking is this guy.
Oh.
Ted Olson. He worked in the Bush administration. So, you know, all goes full circle.
Well, the Bush
details about the program and Olson's role in
all the CIA shit, right?
Well, his father, George H.W. Bush, ran the CIA during the late 60s and early 70s. So, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
And it further damaging the CIA's reputation.
Do you have any follow side effects and since the
Yes.
test took place, and what have they been?
Well, quite a bit, because I had to quit school. I was hospitalized when I had the LSD experience, but that wasn't the end of it. I had to go through 6.5 months of psychotherapy. I was referred to a psychiatrist the next week, and that was very expensive for a student.
By the early 1970s, MKUltra had officially ended, and CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all documents related. Thousands of files were shredded, and it seemed that the full extent of MKUltra's horrors would never be known. However, in 1974, a discovery was made that would unravel the secrecy surrounding MKUltra. An investigative journalist's Freedom of Information Act request led to the discovery of a set of financial records that had been overlooked during the destruction order. These records were housed in a budgetary archive separate from the operational files and detailed payments and fund allocations for various MKUltra subprojects. It was an accounting mistake, a clerical error that preserved these documents and provided the crucial evidence needed to expose MKUltra to the public.
The preservation of a free society than holding the police, including the federal police, to the strictest standards, lest we slip into the practices of a police state.
This accidental discovery set off a chain reaction. As more information came to light, Congress began to investigate. In 1975, the Church Committee was formed, chaired by Senator Frank Church, to examine the abuses of the CIA and other intelligence agencies. The revelations were shocking. The hearings uncovered the full scope of MKUltra's unethical experiments and exposed the CIA's willingness to exploit vulnerable populations for its own gain.
Though this is a decision for the committee to make, I am mindful of the sensitive nature of much of the material that we will be obtaining.
My recollection is that when the order was issued to do away with these bacteriological agents and toxins, that Mr. Karamessinas and I agreed that we had no choice but to comply. In fact, when I say no choice, I don't mean to indicate that we wanted any other choice.
The exposure of MKUltra left a lasting impact on public trust in government institutions. The program's ethical breaches were severe: lack of informed consent, exploitation of prisoners and mental patients, and the infliction of lasting psychological harm. The revelations led to widespread outrage and calls for greater oversight of intelligence agencies. MKUltra serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. It highlights a need for transparency, accountability, and the protection of individual rights. The program's legacy continues to influence debates over government ethics and human rights, as well as the conduct of psychological research.
Did you disclose to President Nixon, from the time he took office and thereafter, the fact that the CIA had a program which included the offensive use capability to use offensively biological devices in order to kill people?
The tragic stories of individuals like Frank Olson, Ted Kaczynski, and Whitey Bulger are testaments to the human cost of the program. They remind us that when ethics are abandoned in the pursuit of power, the consequences can be devastating, and they can linger for decades.
I do not recall having briefed President Nixon on that or several other programs, but you will recall, Mr. Schwartz, that he was once vice president for 8 years and was privy to a lot of things that were going on in the agency then, which he carried over to the presidency, so that...
Yeah, see, I didn't like that. They tried blaming it on Nixon, saying, well, Nixon was vice president under Eisenhower, so he had to have known about the stuff. It's like, well, why would you think Eisenhower was telling Nixon stuff?
Right.
No.
You know, and then, well, who was president in between Nixon that time? It was, this guy, JFK was president until the CIA killed him. And then the guy who had him killed, fucking LBJ, took over. So he was, kind of running things for a while until 68. From 60 to 68, it was that Democrats hold. So I don't like, they try to blame everything on Nixon. The CIA's who took Nixon out anyway. They set up the whole Watergate thing to get rid of Nixon.
I always thought Nixon was like the adult in the room.
He was. That's why they had to get rid of him.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The degree to which he was aware of this program, I simply don't know.
The legacy of MK Ultra should serve as a cautionary tale, one that reminds us of the importance of safeguarding human dignity and upholding the principles of transparency and accountability.
Sir, these activities, as I recall it, Senator Mondale, started back in the early 50s. I must confess that when I became director, I do not recall going back into the legislative or legal history of it. I simply had accepted the fact over the years that the agency was expected to maintain defensive capabilities and be in the vanguard of these exotic things.
Now that you've made it to the...
So you see, that was your answer, Julio. The government just said, well, if someone else is doing it, we've got to do it too, because, we have to stay, we have to know what they're doing so that we can counteract it.
The sad thing is, I think the evil people in the 80s and 70s, I have more trust in than the evil people now. Like, I look back on John Tower and Baker and the Bushes with a bit of nostalgia, I guess.
Is this the second part of the story, Andrew?
Yeah, like this is a little preview of issue 2.
Okay.
Hey Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out here. So thanks for
Okay.
having me on.
All right, we're not going to stay on that much longer. So
Yeah, I got to go soon too.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you, little Mark.
Oh yeah,
Take it easy.
so like just tell me like when to scroll up.
You can go ahead. So he breaks out of the glass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these people wearing like blindfolds or something, or are they blind?
Like their glasses.
Oh, okay. Like
Science.
welding glass, type of thing. Science, like
science glasses for science.
He blinded them with science. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Oh, he's actually like crushing the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't have any control of his powers.
Are these suits like that other guy's suit, or are these a different type of suits?
These are like different.
Okay.
Yeah, like just say when.
Go ahead. Pew pew pew. Okay, go ahead. So now, is this guy like as powerful as the King of Justice, or he's not as powerful? It's like
I can't spoil anything.
Okay,
so.
all right. I was just wondering, like, is this like? Because I'm wondering, is this like? Was he created by like the devil per se, or?
Like I said, like I can't.
You can't spoil it. Okay, all right, I gotcha.
I can't say shit.
All right. Cool. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and the big guy tries to take him on, and then the stretchy guy.
Oh, he's got like laser eyes, like Superman.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ooh, fuck! Look at that. Took his arm off.
Yep. And then his head.
Hmm.
Oh, and the other guy's like, good Lord, what did they create? Yeah. Sciences. Wow, he just made himself a bomb, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So he's kind of like from The Boys. The what was his name? Not that was what's his face? The fucking guy, Homelander's father. The guy.
Oh, Soldier
Nuclear
Boy.
Soldier Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the current page I'm working on. I had to draw every single freaking tree. Yeah, and that's the aftermath. Bloop.
Is that like coming in, click clack, click clack? Is that a woman or is that what's this, the guy that we saw in the last book, the Babel guy? Oh no, it's a woman. Okay.
Making way.
Oh, lots of people are coming through the little portal.
Cool.
Huh. Step into my office. I like that.
Yeah, and this was also a page I was working on, but it's not finished.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't want to show too much. I mean,
yeah.
You don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, like this is pretty much like a fourth of like the entire issue. So there's going to be a whole lot more.
Okay.
So the top right panel, Andrew, I like the uniform of the guy coming through the portal or the.
Yeah.
Is that from somewhere? Were you inspired by?
I was also very inspired by Batman Beyond.
All right. I was getting a little Star Trek Wrath of Khan vibe.
Khan!
From that. Because he's got the little things coming out of it. That's cool.
Yeah. Like Batman Beyond did a lot of like these little straps on like the shoulder and the arms. Yeah, so that's all I have to show for.
Well, and you did this with no help.
Nope. Nope. I did all of this myself.
Amazing. Amazing.
Here's a little 5-minute video that JJ Trujillo put out about is Vito a pedo? So I thought we would watch it.
From the sublime to the ridiculous. Is that what?
Yes. No. Make sure. No, I don't want to go 1.5. Let's go normal speed.
Yeah.
Rape accusations, death threats, use deadly force, sexual misdeeds. I mom on a regular basis. This is the story of Isom. No, not the International School of Ministry, but the comic by Eric July. Dick Masterson's conversation with Eric July goes nuclear, and Vito Giswaldi is hit with a series of heavy accusations.
Yeah, I think he likes kids.
Tonight, on Sifting Through the Trash, with your host, JJ Trujillo. The accusations.
Yeah, I think he likes kids.
His defense.
My argument is, and based on research I've seen, that currently there are non-offending pedophiles who are unaware of how to seek treatment. They're afraid of seeking treatment because they're worldly outed. And they see the way the society views their illness, and they go, you know what, I'm not even going to take a risk on finding treatment because I might reach out to a psychologist and they might say, this guy's scum of the earth. I'm going to tell everybody in his neighborhood what's wrong with him.
What will the verdict be? Who is Vito Giswaldi? One of Vito's first claims to fame came after gamer girl Belle Delphine was bottling up her own bathwater and selling it for $30 a bottle. Vito posted this, and the internet acted exactly as you'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very jealous that the soy man is going to be drinking bathwater on his...
Because Belle and the water wasn't safe for drinking, Vito found another way to ingest it.
I'm gonna vape this bitch.
For those patient enough to watch till the end of the video, realize it was all a gag. Vito teed himself up to being dogpiled and then revealed that it was sarcasm the whole time.
Anybody who thought this was real is retarded.
Vito is known for sarcasm, self-deprecation, and bait-and-switch humor. However, the tweet that got him in trouble was not meant to be funny, but a serious comment about pedophilia made in January of 2022. He was then questioned with this, to which Vito responded. Many people highlight the word "we," interpreting Vito as saying he was a pedophile, but in this context I would interpret it to mean himself and the person he was conversing with. But this is the internet, and Vito shouldn't be surprised that people would take this as an opportunity to dunk on him. Vito was then asked, "We?" as a clarification, and for some reason he responded like this, greasing the wheels for his public humiliation. Then the floodgates open with a sea of critics. Vito Control-V'd this canned response. This didn't seem to work well. And so he responded with misplaced sarcasm, and then decided to dump his shovel and trade it for a backhoe, digging his grave deeper and deeper. Vito had no idea of knowing who this person is, let alone her sister, so it's safe to say this was a joke response. Vito probably thought he was casually dismissing
I'm sorry.
critics.
Oh, go ahead.
I have
Vito
issues-
pushed it a little too far.
He did, but you have to be a special kind of moron to think that he's actually a pedo. You have to be completely devoid of any sense whatsoever. It drives me nuts. I don't like a lot of the things Vito says, but who cares? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of his takes.
Yeah.
But it is what it is,
He kind of invites himself to be the punching bag. So.
Oh, what did I do?
But in many people's eyes, he was dismissing a serious issue. It's not time to declare the verdict yet, but if Vito isn't guilty of Yellow Flash's charges, we can say he is at least guilty of being a retard. When someone asks you if you're guilty of sexual misdeeds, the last thing you should do is double down like this.
I fuck your mum on a regular basis.
If you don't believe me, just ask Heels versus Babyface. On the surface level, it appears Vito is talking about child abuse. However, this is actually about the fundamental divide between the left and the right. The right prescribes responsibility based off of a person's actions, whereas the left prescribes responsibility to external factors, such as genetics, race, or economic inequality.
They're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
Here Vito seems to be making an argument that pedophiles are genetically predetermined to like children.
They have a sexual attraction that, let's be clear, I don't think people choose to be attracted to children. Why would you? It's insanity.
And we can stop them from acting by kindness and compassion. I don't think this makes him a pedophile, just a retard like all lefties. Though it's interesting, Yellow Flash was so eager to cast a stone.
Yeah, I think he likes kids.
As Yellow Flash defended the pornographic anime Redo Healer, in which the protagonist was underage girls, some of which are below the age of 14.
Yeah, this redo of Healer is pretty gross.
That's a little weird.
It's really weird. It's really gross.
Additionally, he invited...
But this way, it's so gross that Japan canceled the season 2 of it.
Fucking Japan canceled it?
Yeah.
They need to do the next step and just completely ban it from existence.
And an artist named Raging Golden Eagle that drew provocative and pornographic anime images of young girls, as well as reposting other similar cartoons by others. What does this make Yellow Flash? Let me know in the comments below. Ethan and Eric try and clean up the train wreck that was their Flashcast appearance. Next time.
What is with the Japanese? And
I don't know, man.
I can tell you that that they're a sexually repressed culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like
why they're
everybody has to be all.
That's why they're having like a population problem.
All right, that's an interesting. I always thought it was like the men they're like, fuck it, these broads are too much of a pain in the ass, so we're just going to play StarCraft all day. Is that basically what's happening?
I honestly do not know the full details of it. All I know is that like they're just having a population problem. They just can't like get the young Japanese people to make children.
Well,
like it's just a problem. Like they're going through like a very different problem, compared to the rest of the world. With a immigration problem where where Japan is not having that. It's not having that sort of problem.
but why do you think that is? Why do you think they have a population problem?
Like for me personally, like I think anime is too hypersexualized, and and sort of like the same reason, like if you watch too much porn, like the real thing is never going to compare.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
But that's a problem, that they're that they're gonna have to fix. Because have you ever watched this anime called Fairy Tail? Like the female characters are hypersexualized to where I almost want to ask the manga artist like okay, dude, like is this like a cry for help, where like you where you just want to where you really just want to draw hentai, instead of like a serialized manga, where like you can't really where you can't really go full-blown porn.
I like what you said. Is it a cultural cry for help? Interesting.
Yeah.
That's yeah. All right, so air him out. Is this more JJ?
This is more JJ Trujillo. He does a great job breaking down all the stuff going on with the trash.
Advise him. No, not the International School of Ministry, but the comic by Eric July. Watch as Rippa's story crumbles, and he burns bridges with the man who tried to be his friend. Tonight, on Sifting Through the Trash, with your host, JJ Trujillo. Nick claims Eric didn't have standing to shoot Riley.
Fans have posted some fantasies about using self-defense against Riley, and we're talking about using lethal force in self-defense. Anyone who thinks that that's a real thing is deluding themselves in this scenario.
But Eric's team doesn't seem to see it that way.
I see that, that being your sort of position, and that it's always been the case, or you feel like that's generally the case, of to justify putting a hole or attempting to put a hole in someone. Our guys don't see it that way, and I've seen people get aired out for a lot less.
But isn't lethal force
I've seen people get aired out.
Texas?
I've seen people get aired out for a lot less.
I love
really. I would really. Yeah, I would really love to hear that. Exactly what
Well, he's what they used to call frontin'.
Yeah, it is. That's Sanford.
There are multiple statutes of self-defense in Texas. There are two penal codes which we should try and understand. The first being Texas Penal Code 9.31, and the second being Texas Penal Code 9.41. Here we learn that force can be justified for self-defense when someone unlawfully breaks into a home, business, or vehicle. This is often referred to as the Castle Doctrine, and isn't unique to Texas. We will take a look at a separate case in which deadly force was used and the defendant argued self-defense, and see how the prosecuting attorneys disagreed. This will help us better understand Eric's situation and possible outcomes had Riley actually been killed. Let's take a ride in a DeLorean back to the summer of 2020. After the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, riots and violence gripped the city. resulting in $500 million of damage. The chaos soon spread across the country, resulting in the burning of a federal courthouse, a riot at the Capitol, and severe damage to the historic St. John's Church, and the deaths of many individuals. Texas was not immune from these tumultuous times. A group of far-left extremists blocked the streets and swarmed around cars. Just 3 weeks prior, something similar happened in Provo, Utah. Ken Dudley was driving when he was also swarmed. He was shot in the elbow and shrapnel hit his eye. Knowing how violent and deadly those riots can get, I imagine Daniel Perry was also super scared when rioters swarmed around his car. Especially when Garrett Foster, who was carrying an AK-47, walked up to his vehicle and motioned with the barrel of his gun for Daniel to lower the window. This was Garrett just moments prior.
Why'd you start carrying? Well, our roommate got arrested and they stopped letting us march anywhere, so started carrying.
Daniel shot Garrett, and did he walk away freely for being in the base state of Texas? No. The following years were a nightmare for him and his family. It wasn't until April of 2023 a verdict was reached on the case. And unfortunately for him, it wasn't in his favor. He was charged with murder. Keep in mind, he was swarmed, and a man was motioning an AK-47 at him. And even though Texas Penal Code clearly states that one can defend himself in their home, vehicle, or business, Daniel was still charged and convicted with murder. After the announcement of the verdict in April 2023, Greg Abbott said he would try and pardon him, which took 1 year. Imagine how many sleepless nights he had wondering if he would actually become free. It is important to note that in Eric's situation, if he or a security guard had killed Riley, they would be using a similar defense as Daniel Perry. Daniel Perry was swarmed, and the man he killed was holding an AK at low ready. Riley was unarmed. How much less standing would Eric have? Furthermore, Eric cites that the lethal force could be used because Riley was committing criminal mischief. Listen to his weasel words.
Yeah, I make the argument, and certainly everybody here is making the argument that for sure, definitely considering at nighttime, that is criminal mischief, right? And
Again,
definitely because he's writing on stuff and he's putting notes up and all that good stuff. And in Texas, if you don't know, you can, by the way, and this is what, not anything that I'm advocating, right? I want to be very, very clear about that. But, you know, definitely because we're talking about the legality of deadly force and all that good stuff in Texas, you're committing criminal mischief at night, you absolutely have the right. It's right there in Section 9 of the Texas Penal Code. And, you know, you can read it verbatim. It specifically addresses you being able to use deadly force for someone committing criminal mischief at night on your property.
When I first heard this, I assumed the markings that Eric referred to were made with spray paint or a Sharpie. It turns out they were just stickers. And get this, money. He literally taped $50 to the guy's window. Eric thought he was very crafty with words, and made it sound like Riley did something much more nefarious. This was a very hard realization for me, someone who was a fan of Ripa. We aren't talking about permanent damage. He actually gave Ripa something of value. Of course you shouldn't go to people's warehouses, but if you have 500,000 subscribers, you shouldn't put them on full blast. Because now they've got clout, and others will want to follow and get theirs too. I also noticed Eric wasn't saying Riley's name, and very rarely stated Dick or Vito's. He would use euphemisms to refer to these people, such as calling Riley a fat guy. That prevented me from doing my own research and understanding what actually happened. Aside from hiding people's names, misleading about what Riley did, there were several other times he tried carefully wording things to leave the wrong impression. Listen to how Ripa describes his warehouse and gates.
There's no drive-through. Like, our building is sectioned that way, the way that it is. It's us, and that's it. That gate that is there, and that's it. You cannot drive through our building to get, or our side of that building to get somewhere else. That's not how the design of it is.
Is there a gate blocking off that side of the building?
Yes, correct. On that side, there absolutely is a gate blocking both sides, actually, because on the end of that street, or not a street, I guess that road, whatever you want to call it, it is the drive, the parking lot, right, if you will. There are two gates on either side. This is why he drove through, had to turn around to get out, because that's the only way that you can get in or out on that particular side.
Listening to that, I imagined tall steel gates surrounding every entrance, and that there was no way to get in unless you had an access key or showed ID to security. It turns out that there was indeed a public entrance.
Yes.
But then you're saying that he drove through another side and got
Yeah,
in.
so look at it like three sides because there's nothing but fencing on the other on one side, right? So you have a fence. Look at it like this, like you got a fence, right? And then on opposite sides of that fence, right, is our building, right? You can get out, so get on the street, do whatever you need to do. There are two sides. If you went left or if you went right, there are gates on both sides. There is only one way if you're not entering through that gate to get into where our building is. Not everybody else's building. To get into where our building is, there's only one way to get in, not using those two gates.
So there's a way to get in without using the gate.
Correct.
Okay, but yeah, like you see the issue there, right? That there is a publicly accessible way in without a gate.
Issue as far as what?
This is important because if it isn't clearly marked as private, and if there is an opening, someone could reasonably enter for legitimate purpose. After Ripa implies his team thought that they could shoot Riley, Nick recommends Eric find new legal counsel.
And I've seen people get aired out for a lot less. However, I don't even think
I would highly suggest an alternative opinion on counsel if you think a sticker with a $20 bill under it justifies. If that's their legal advice,
not the argument,
Nick,
though. That's where I think the gaslighting is,
second
though, Nick,
opinion.
because that's
This seemed to upset Eric, but did you know that Daniel Perry's social media posts were used against him? If a fatal event were to ever occur on Eric's property, the things he and others say on social media could be used against them. Comparing the case of Daniel Perry to Eric July, which of the two had more standing?
Like the way he's describing it, it's almost like he's saying that like it's private property, and he doesn't have to put up like any signs that say private property, so he can arbitrarily, like just say that,
because there was no, like, if there was a fence with gates that were locked and stuff, and somebody bypassed the gates, you could, they're trespassing, they broke and enter, or they're, there's different laws, but it's a driveway that someone just drives in that's accessible to the street. That's open to the public. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's like your driveway, anybody can come up to your door and knock on your door. You can't shoot them.
Yeah. It's like, it's like, you say that someone is trespassing, on your property, and in your house is like it's like 10 miles away. It's like, well, no, you can't just arbitrarily say that whatever you want is your private property. Like you have to be very specific on where your property line is.
Right. You can arbitrarily decide where people can go and can't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is satire, right? JJ's not like serious.
To Daniel Perry. What could
I think it's satire.
Okay.
I think he's poking fun.
have happened to Eric if he or one of his guards had pulled the trigger? Next time, a legal battle ensues. Watch as Eric is slapped with a massive lawsuit on.
I don't know if I'm doing these in the right order.
Wasn't there a guy with the last name Perry at that New York train?
Yeah, Daniel Perry or Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny.
Yeah, it was Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I keep thinking Perry now. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, is this the same guy?
I wonder how many hours of content have come from Eric saying, I'm going to air him out.
Quite a bit, I would imagine.
It's the sentence that launched
accusations, death threat.
Oh yeah, but Eric,
Jim, I got to cut out. I got a meeting.
Right.
In
you know
6
what?
hours.
I'm gonna probably take off too. So let me pull this down. So let me do this. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful stream.
Yep.
I'm gonna do a little outro here for everybody to have some fun. We'll go like this.
Ooh,
I might look forward, to the eventual review of King of Justice on your channel.
Talking.